And here we go. Monday, November 8th. Ermanni and Edwards, the bottom line. Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Braylon, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, buddy. How was your weekend?
Feel like I have an extra pep in my step today. Maybe it's the extra hour of sleep I got on the body clock today.
That thing works.
I am not a fan of daylight savings time. However, I am a fan of the extra hour within the next 24, 48, 72 hours, if you will.
So it's kind of like when you have chili or pasta. When you make it the first day, Maz, you can join in on this. When you make chili or pasta that first day, it's pretty good.
So good.
But when it sits overnight and you get it the next day, you get it. Right. Oh man, that's when the chili is good. That's when the pasta is good. That's when that daylight savings.
I can eat it cold then too.
That is the analogy of all analogies. Agreed. There. But Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Hey fellas, listen, man. Daylight savings is great, but just leave it alone now. Once it switches to daylight savings, leave the damn clock the way it is.
They're not going to do that. Sorry, man.
They got to change it eventually. They got to get away from this back and forth. It messes you up.
But man, what about the kids?
You can move to Arizona.
What messes you up is the spring forward, not the fall back.
No, but
the fall back is pretty good.
Fall back still messes you up a little.
Except it's dark at like 3:30.
Exactly. I was barbecuing last night. I didn't even know if the damn meat was done.
Speaking of fall back.
Take a flashlight.
Look, speaking of fall back, like Michigan State had some issues this past weekend. Looks like Canelo didn't have any issues. Looks like everybody in the NFL had issues. It was an interesting week in sports, man. A really interesting week. What do you think? What do you make of this weekend?
Well, I'll tell you, it was a fun Sunday, if I could, because we didn't have to concern ourselves with the Detroit Lions as much yesterday.
Right.
But there is a part of the sickness that is being a Lions fan where you do feel like you missed out on something a little bit, right? You missed them a little bit, didn't you?
If you just look at the teams that got wins and some of the teams that they got the wins over this week, you look at, where's the rundown right here? You look at the Raiders, the Giants, they beat the Raiders. You look at the Browns, beat the Bengals. You look at the Titans with no Derrick Henry and no real good passing game. If you look at the way Tannehill played, but they got to win over the Rams. It seems like it would have been a day for the Detroit Lions to beat or sneak a win over somebody. I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo Bills.
Cannot even believe it. And, Maz, that Manning curse is something, isn't it?
It's for real, Josh Allen. Welcome to the club, man, and we're going to tell you about that in a minute. But I want to give you a little something. If you're jonesing for the Lions, I came upon it today. It's November the 8th. Let's take you back to 1970.
You've been waiting for
where
this.
It all began 51 years ago today for us Detroit Lion fans.
The Saints lived up to their name and performed one miracle.
Tom Dempsey will try to kick the longest field goal in National League history. They're sending him on with 2 seconds left. Scarpetti will hold. Dempsey will have to kick one 62 yards.
Just look at this.
Look at that nub.
Holy daylight.
Unbelievable.
Tulane Stadium.
Exciting moment in Saint history.
The green wave.
Here's the snap. The ball is down. Dempsey kicks. It's on
one
the way.
step.
It is good. It's good.
It missed.
The official got off his feet, too.
Look at this. Look at the Lions just kneeling down.
Sad sack.
Over or under for how many cigarettes were smoked in that locker room after the game was over?
Over. Isn't that something?
That is
51
incredible.
It only happens to the Detroit Lions.
And you called it right there right before it was kicked. One stepper.
One step and got enough on that.
One
like, what was that,
stepper.
63 yards away?
Here's the kicker for that. The Lions
no pun intended.
were one of the 4 NFC teams to make the playoffs that year. They had three winners of the divisions and the wild card. They were the wild card team. They went in and they played the Dallas Cowboys 5-0. They lost that playoff game. Dallas went on to play in the Super Bowl and lose to the Colts just 2 weeks after that. But 5-0, the lowest scoring playoff game in NFL history. Here's the kicker on that. The Lions were down to the 11-yard line in the last 29 seconds of that game. They almost beat the Cowboys that day. Could have won a playoff game. Could have maybe went to a Super Bowl.
Here's the interesting thing about those low-scoring games like that. are those good games to you?
I don't like them.
Or are they bad games? Because obviously the defenses had to play extremely well
I dig those
to get
games.
that. But it's just not a lot. Like the game of the century was the one against LSU and Alabama, when I think LSU kicked the field goal to win 9-6 over Saban and with your boy
Just
Les
look at
Miles.
look,
This the game of the century. I'm like, it was 9-6.
Look at the 9-6 game yesterday, Jacksonville and Buffalo.
Ugh.
You want to watch
Terrible.
that game?
Hell no.
I love that Minnesota game. I got to watch that game.
Yeah, but you're talking about a 34-31 game.
I know, but that was a great game. Adam Amin on the call with
He
Stink.
switched
That was
up on
great.
it.
I was so excited.
We've
yesterday.
I'm upset that we didn't get the win because, well, actually we did because we took the points on the spread.
We did.
Oh, so we
got
at
it.
Minnesota.
I would love to have had them win the whole damn thing. I sent you the stats on Minnesota yesterday. Is there a harder luck team in the NFL than the Vikings?
But again, that's the NFL. That's life in the NFL. The difference between the good teams and the bad teams are those teams that can make those extra 3 or 4 plays over the course of a 60-minute ball game. Right? I mean, most NFL games are one-score games. And if you're the team that comes out on the short end of those, well, that's a trend. That could be coaching. That could be a mistake made by a player at an inopportune time of the game. I mean, that's the difference between winning and losing in the National Football League. We'll get into some NFL talk a lot today. We'll get into some college football talk, a lot of that as well. But coming up at the top of hour number 2, we're going to be joined by ESPN college basketball analyst Jay Bilas today. Not a better guy going. The State Farm Classic goes off tomorrow night. Michigan State on the road at Madison Square Garden to take on number 3 Kansas. Braylon, not too much respect for the Spartans this year coming into the season for Tom Izzo's crew.
First time Tom Izzo's team hasn't been ranked in the top 25 preseasons in 10 years. 2011, 2012 season is the last time this has happened. I can't wait to ask Jay Bilas about that. We're used to seeing the Spartans somewhere. They're usually somewhere in the top 10, usually no lower than around 15, and they have a way to, kind of start off the year with the right type of setting it off the right tone, the right way. It's going to be interesting. I want to ask Jay Bilas some questions about this Izzo team. Like, is this a team that's disrespected, or is this rightfully so?
Hey, no respect for the Michigan State football team early in the year. They weren't ranked. Neither was Michigan, and here they are, both in the top 10 still.
And it's one of those things, too, where Tom Izzo, has had so much success with basketball teams that didn't have that many expectations coming into the season. Is this one of those Tom Izzo type teams that will end up in the Final Four come March? We'll see. You never know when it comes to an Izzo-led team. We'll ask him about the Michigan Wolverines as well. They're preseason number 6, third year for Juwan Howard. Lots to get to with Jay Bilas. We'll do that top of hour number 2. Again, the college football talk is going to be big for us guys today, but I do want to get a thought on the Detroit Lions' 4 o'clock waiver deadline for OBJ. We've talked so much about.
Yes, we have.
Obviously, the Detroit Lions are not going to claim Odell Beckham Jr. Whether you think he should or should not is almost a moot point now because the way the contract is situated, you're not going to pick up OBJ, pay him $7 million a year, and then lose him in March. They would not get to keep him beyond this year if they did pick him up on waivers. So, on Friday, kind of thought, what do you have to lose?
Right.
Even if he doesn't play for you a single down, Braylon, at least maybe you could trade him on draft day because you have him for an extra couple of years. That is not the case.
No.
If a team picks up Odell Beckham Jr., he becomes a free agent in March.
Yeah, it's a way to protect the players.
Yes.
As opposed to you being able to pick the player up halfway during the season and then being able to keeping him from potentially making a move that will help him and his family out. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Odell Beckham. It's going to be because if no one claims him, which I don't think anybody will claim that $8 million salary or just under $8 million, as you said. I don't think anybody's going to claim him. And if no one claims him, Ryan, where's he going to go? Where's going to be a home for him? I've been hearing Seattle. He's talked about that openly, kind of wanting to be in Seattle. Seattle has Tyler Lockett as well as DK Metcalf.
It
works for them.
That's an interesting choice where you'd want to go there.
DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett work really well for the Seattle Seahawks. And we also don't know how much longer Russell Wilson is going to be in that equation. And things aren't seeming to go right in Seattle. We don't know if Russell will still be there. I think the best place for him, and I keep saying this is the first place I said I saw success for him, was Kansas City. I think Kansas City Chiefs would be a great place for him. I think they don't necessarily have a pure wide receiver.
What happened to Josh?
Josh Gordon?
Josh Gordon, they signed him. What happened to him?
I don't know. He hasn't had success yet at the position. I've seen some throws go to him, but I haven't seen some connections. I think Odell provides you with a receiver that is a real wide receiver. Tyreek Hill had to learn how to play the position of wide out. He still can be your number one, but you're having a guy, Odell, a guy that can get to the Pro Bowl, a guy that can run routes, a guy that can catch the ball, a guy that can take the top off, much like Tyreek. And I think that helps Tyreek Hill out. You look at some of the non-success that the Chiefs, and we got to talk about them. We got to talk about them as well because they won, but they might as well have lost. How bad they look. They look awful out there against Jordan Love.
Until the last play.
Until the last play.
Yep.
The opening drive and the last play.
The last play.
But yet you look at the Chiefs and a lot of the success that they're not having is Sammy Watkins not being there. Sammy Watkins was so key at that number 2 wideout position. He helped Tyreek Hill, and then Micah Hardman was able to play that third wideout. So that's what they've been missing, and Travis Kelce just hasn't looked the same.
I got the perfect spot for Odell Beckham Jr.
I just told you the perfect spot.
I'm going to give you my perfect spot.
Is it better than my perfect spot?
I think it is.
Oh, man.
I think it is.
Lies.
We'll do it next. And I want to ask you a question about Lions general manager Brad Holmes.
Okay.
There's a lot to get to today. We're going to get to all of it. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz from MyBookie.ag, our studio sponsors, and the place I put my sports bets in. Yep, I even bet the Breeders' Cup on MyBookie. Hit the trifecta, as a matter of fact, in the Breeders' Cup Classic, all on MyBookie using that promo code Woodward. Because if you're a first-timer and you go and use that promo code Woodward, they'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. Tonight, what's on the menu? Monday Night Football. Steelers and the Bears from Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh favored by 7. Who you like? We're going to talk about it coming up. But go to MyBookie right now. Use that promo code Woodward and double your first deposit. Hope you had Usman on Saturday night. He went the distance, but I know you guys had him anyway. MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code Woodward. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. And if you have a gambling problem, make sure you check it out with the Michigan Gambling Hotline. 1-800-270-7117.
One of the things we're going to do as well over the next couple of days is play our turkey games. And what that is, we want to give you 2... Thank you for that, Fish. We want to give you 2 front row tickets to the Detroit Lions Thanksgiving Day game against the Chicago Bears. All you have to do is watch or listen at 9, noon, and 3 o'clock. Right here on Woodward Sports. We're giving you a chance to sit front row on Thanksgiving. All you have to do is survive our turkey games. Listen to the Morning Woodward show at 9, Big D Energy at noon, and our show, The Bottom Line, at 3 o'clock for your chance to qualify. Anybody at 3 o'clock, Maz, you're going to pick this on YouTube on the chat string.
Yes.
When I mention the word hail at 3 o'clock, you type it in. I'm going to say it nonchalantly.
Okay.
As nonchalantly as I can. I'll say the word hail. You write hail in the YouTube chat, and we'll go ahead and get you qualified, Maz. You'll pick one person who does that.
I certainly will. I'll be monitoring it.
And we'll go ahead and give those.
Not only that, downtown that day, we will be at the pregame show at the Tin Roof with Jade from 101. From the Riff, come on down and see us, and then go to the game.
Absolutely. Qualifying takes place. We'll do it every day until November 22nd, with the winner being picked on November 23rd.
Got a little fun action going on. Little turkey games. I like it.
November 22nd, by the way, the day William Clay Ford bought the Detroit Lions in 1963.
There you go. Thanks for reminding us.
Also lost President JFK that day.
Unbelievable. Jay Bilas coming up at the top of hour number 2. Perfect spot for Odell Beckham Jr. to me is the New England Patriots. Nobody is paying attention to the New England Patriots this year. They are 5-4. They don't have a stud wide receiver. 7 different New England Patriots caught a pass and were targeted yesterday. It is the perfect spot to get to almost resurrect his career a little bit with Bill Belichick, you can be that guy for Mac Jones. You can get a ton of cred around the NFL to just go fall in line with a playoff contender, Bill Belichick, go do your thing. Close your mouth, be the number one option for Mac Jones. Let that rookie find you. You don't think that rookie's going to look your way every single play? That is the perfect spot for Odell Beckham Jr., in my opinion.
Well done.
The New England Patriots, 5-4. Nobody's paying attention to them. They're a playoff team this year, and I wouldn't want to play them.
I would absolutely have to say you're 100% correct. I didn't even think about that, and that would be a good spot. I think it even makes sense even more because when you think about Odell Beckham and you think about kind of the way in which he's been in the past, and he's been good since he's been with the Browns in terms of the distraction stuff, especially last year or so. His father, maybe not so much, but him, yes. But if you say that to any other team, I'm like, but you got a young rookie quarterback. You also know what Odell's capable of. Do you want one of those sideline blow-ups? Do you want back and forth bickering? But then you add the element of Bill Belichick. That's the element that you add to make what you said 100% correct. That will work well.
And culture, right?
I think that will work well.
Looking back, obviously, Randy Moss worked well there as well. I got a dark horse for you. How about the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I think there's too much of a SH bleep show.
It is an SH show.
In Green Bay, like where Matt LaFleur isn't on the same page as Aaron Rodgers, and you know that's one thing that we didn't talk about last week is with everything going on surrounding Aaron Rodgers and him being immunized but not necessarily being vaccinated. You saw how Matt LaFleur has answered the questions that week. He was pissed. You can tell that Matt LaFleur is tired of it. You can tell that he's had to bite his tongue, hold his tongue, be quiet, let the organization kind of figure things out with Aaron Rodgers, and it just kept coming out. But with that being said, do you want to add Odell to that? You already got the best wide receiver in football. You're only adding him.
That's a good point.
You're only adding him for – no, you're right. It really is nice. I mean, if you're trying to win now, it's not a bad –
Listen,
yeah.
I picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl, right? I was one of the ones.
You did.
They're going to win the Super Bowl. Just yesterday, watching that game, they're ready to win this. Aaron Rodgers in that game, they beat Kansas City by 3 touchdowns. Yeah. They beat them by 3 touchdowns. They're good. The defense is playing well. I just love where they're at, and their chips are up. That's it. Their chips are at the end of the table. They're going for it. I wouldn't bet against them.
I wouldn't either. I think, we talked about this. One of the quiet things, and when Aaron gets back, he'll be able to help Aaron and maybe some of the wideouts when they get back, Devontae especially, is that running game has gotten a lot better. Because you have a two-headed monster now with A.J. Dillon from Boston College, and then you have Aaron Jones, their best running back. You mix those two guys in. You mix in what Aaron Rodgers does well, which is beat a man. You know what I'm saying? To beat the man, you got to beat the man. Aaron Rodgers is the man. He's the returning MVP. He's played at that level. Maz, you might be on. Both of you guys are on to something good. I'm the quiet one today. Both of you guys are on to something. I like that call. Just thinking about it. From trying to win right now.
Right now.
Let's go for it.
Well, a potential spot for Green Bay, they need some tight end help. Lions released one today.
Yeah.
Not sure if he'd be interested in joining the Green Bay Packers, but tight end Darren Fells was waived today. He had asked for his unconditional release and got it. I do want to ask you guys about Brad Holmes because, look, the Lions are 0-8. It happened on Friday right at 4 o'clock as we were going off the air, and we didn't have a chance to comment on it, but the Lions cut Terrell Williams, their number one free agent signing in the offseason. Now, granted, he had the injury situation. Not sure how it plays out. They're not going to keep him. They cut him. So if you look, though, at the free agent signings from Brad Holmes, you've got Terrell Williams, number one receiver, gone. Brashad Perriman, number 2 receiver that you signed, he couldn't even make the team out of camp.
Bears cut him, too.
You gave up a 5th-round pick for Trinity Benson in a trade that the guy can't even dress for you. I think he dressed 1 time since you've acquired them. And a 5th-round pick, when you're an organization like this, very difficult pick. Kadarius Hodge has not done anything for you. What has, besides, and I do believe Alex Anzalone has been a really decent signing.
He has.
For free agent defensive help. Linebacker leads the team in tackles. Aside from that, I think the rookie, I think you can bring up Penei Sewell as a draft pick right now. Is that really, if you could go back just 6 months ago and get a do-over, would you do that same, would you make that same decision in signing Penei Sewell? Is it too early to start questioning some of Brad Holmes' personnel decisions? Because the draft, I'm not going to count out any of these guys with injuries at all. I don't think that's fair. Nothing. But I think if you could just go back 6 months, you'd redo Penei Sewell, whether it's Parsons or Mac Jones or a quarterback. I think if you could look at some of the free agent signings this guy has had, none have panned out. Anzalone, perhaps, just because he's leading a bad team in tackles.
He's probably the best one so far.
Probably the best one. I'll give him some credit there, but is it too early to start questioning Brad Holmes?
It's never too early. I questioned what I ate for dinner last night, and that was less than 24 hours ago.
What did you have?
You can. I had. What did I have? Oh, I had Applebee's. I had I had a chicken salad. What do you call it? The Oriental chicken salad from Applebee's mixed in.
Sweet.
Yeah, I had that, and I forgot what it was. Chicken dinner.
Oh, that's good.
But it's not too late. At this, because the moves don't necessarily add up. They don't necessarily make all the sense in the world. Maz would be a Micah Parsons guy who didn't show up too well yesterday, but we still seen what he's done over the past 7 games prior to that. You see some other picks that we could have had. We took Penei Sewell. Got to see how that plays out. Some of the moves that they made during training camp haven't worked out for them. You listed them all. No need for me to replay them. And it does look questionable. But at the same time, we know, I take that back, we know that they want to build their identity here in terms of what Brad Holmes on the same page with Dan Campbell want and Sheila for him. We know that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build out. They're trying to draft the personality that they want. They're trying to draft the identity that they want to put out as a product. So with that being said, you just got to ride the ship out. Ride the ship out. We have to wait till they get to the draft this next year in 2022. Let's see how he drafts in 2022. Like, we know what they are now. We know what they want to do. They don't want to pick up random guys. They don't want to pick up Odell Beckham and his contract. They don't want to pick up Cam Newton. They don't want to pick up Golden Tate. They don't want to necessarily do those things. So now it's time for us to sit back and relax and see how it plays out. Because we can go on and on about what, August to November 8th has been. And it hasn't been the best, and it hasn't been good. But we also know that they really are trying to build this thing up the way that they want to. So you know what? Guys like us, let's take a step back and see what happens in April 2022.
And perhaps one of the biggest issues, perhaps one of the biggest issues that you could potentially have, or a Lions fan could potentially have with Brad Holmes, is here's a guy who was in L.A. for a number of years, who has seen every football game Jared Goff has ever played in his life. How you could, with a new job, want that quarterback. Maybe that is another knock against Brad Holmes, too, because I see it with my eyes. This guy cannot play quarterback, it doesn't appear, outside. He's winless without Sean McVay as his head coach. Winless.
Well, here's the other side of that. What I said we had to sit here and observe them. Hey, we got to let them get to their 2022 April draft, their first-round picks, and see how they do once they really make a dent into what they want to do. But I didn't say we couldn't question. And one of the biggest questions is, if somebody's really good at something, they said that Brad Holmes is really good on that staff out of the Los Angeles Rams in terms of drafting, in terms of scouting talent. They said he had a lot to do with Cooper Kupp being signed as a Los Angeles Ram. If somebody's really, really good at something, they don't tend to let those people leave. The Rams let him leave, and then he chose to leave and come to Detroit that hasn't had a lot of success in the last 40 years or so. Hasn't had a lot of success. So when you start questioning things like that, you're like, I wonder, was it him, or was it the franchise, or was it the people that are still in Los Angeles? Those are questions you can ask.
We'll get into some college football talk, but Maz, if you want to put a bow on some NFL talk, feel free to do so. Brad Holmes, I think it's time you can start questioning if this is the right guy. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With mortgage interest rates unbelievably low, the stakes to find your new home have never been higher. And that's why Hall Financial's exclusive realtor network allows us to connect you with a top-rated realtor in your area, making sure you take on the housing market and win. Hall Financial has earned over 4,000 five-star reviews because of our technology and our commitment to closing your loan fast. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
This is Corey Woods with the Woodward Sports Network checking in with your Detroit Lions update. Now, everybody's waiting for the big news today at 4 p.m. Will the Detroit Lions claim Odell Beckham Jr.? The disgruntled wide receiver was granted his release last week from the Cleveland Browns, and he's going to hit the waiver wire today at 4 p.m. Now, the big news, as I said, will the Lions pick up OBJ? In my opinion, it is not going to happen. OBJ has already stated his intention that he would prefer to land with the contender. Now, with the Las Vegas Raiders signing Deshaun Jackson, you can pretty much count them out of the running. With the Seattle Seahawks still out there and the Buffalo Bills, I expect him to land with either one of those teams. He said that a preference of his is to land with the Seahawks. But another big news coming out of Allen Park today. Veteran tight end Darren Fells asked for his release, and it was granted. Fells will hit the waiver wire later on today. He was a healthy scratch in the Eagles-Lions game, so him being out in Detroit should not be that much of a shocker. With Fells gone, expect Brock Wright to be elevated from the practice squad to the main roster. That is all for today. This is Corey Woods with your Detroit Lions update. See you guys next time.
That's our Lions beat reporter Corey Woods chiming in today on Monday, November 8th. This is something that we saw on Twitter all weekend long. Bye week 27, Detroit Lions 24. I mean, just
tough loss.
No
Lions,
respect, man.
Tough
Lions
loss.
getting trolled. And again, during the break, Braylon said, the Lions did have a bye week this week, which I think is fair. But
we're still bitching,
and we're still complaining about Brad Holmes, and it goes back to the Terrell Williams wave or cut. How releasing Terrell Williams, there's just one more notch in the personnel decisions from Brad Holmes that, to me, just he hasn't done anything to help this football team win this year at all. Seriously,
they're starting from scratch, man.
I know,
and like Braylon said, and we've all talked about it, they're not picking anyone up either. They're not picking up scraps. They're not trying to patchwork anything. What they're doing is signing rookie free agents to the practice squad and bringing them up. That's basically what they're doing. And now you're down all of these wide receivers. I don't even know who the hell they're going to put on the field next week at Pittsburgh, at Heinz Field. I mean, it's really not fair to even judge Jared Goff, Jeff Goff, whatever you want to call him. It doesn't. Who's he throwing to? And I know he's zeroing in on one guy, the sideline usually, but the thing is, he has no chance. He has no chance.
And when you bring up Jared Goff, he has been not good. I mean, we have seen players, wide receivers, when they do get open, him not throw them the football. We've seen him throw the ball away on fourth down twice.
Yeah.
Like, throw it away. Not even
noticeably so.
Like, throw it down the field. Give your guy a chance to get a PI or something like that. Or if it gets picked off, you know what? It's like a punt. He just hasn't been very good.
No, he hasn't been very good, but I think that Brad Holmes as well as Dan Campbell thought that he would be better. Obviously, we know that in order to get the 2 first-round picks and the second-rounder, we had to take Goff as well. Like, that was part of the deal. That was the all-around deal. So it wasn't like, hey, we can take some of this deal. We had to take Goff as well. And I believe that Brad Holmes, who was out there in Los Angeles with Jared Goff, Dan Campbell, who's seen Jared Goff, they thought he had enough. And they thought that they could patchwork enough, up until 2022 or 2023 to do enough to make him look enough decent, have a good. They knew the line that they had around him. They knew they had with Ragnar, with Taylor Decker. You draft Penei Sewell, you got Jamal Williams, you have DeAndre Swift. They thought that they could patchwork around it maybe for a year and a half, 2 years, and it just hasn't been the case. I think what they're seeing out of him is a descent much faster than they thought they were going to get, but also it's not the same offense that you had in Los Angeles. It's just not that. So with that being said, it's going to be interesting what they do moving forward, because he's still going to be here. He's still getting paid. Nobody's going to pick up that contract. So who do you draft coming up next year with quarterback-wise? Who do you pick up in the offseason? Is there going to be a free agent and somebody around? Is there a guy like Mike White? Shoot, I know he only played one game. I saw enough out of Mike White. I saw enough out of Mike White.
I'm with you.
I saw enough out of Mike White in the game and the 8 snaps of the following game that he played, I saw enough. Same thing that the Miami Dolphins did with Scott Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
Scott Mitchell came in to spell Dan Marino. The Lions saw it. They saw that 5-game sample size. They said, that's our guy. That's it. And he came here and he threw 4,000 yards 4 times.
Yep.
Very similar with Mike White. I know and he's only a rookie. So he's legitimately going to be sitting behind Zach Wilson, rookie to rookie. Man, that's my move right there from the Lions.
Amen.
That's a mask cut right there. I felt proud when I said it's very mask-like.
Amen.
It's a mask call.
Well, one of the things and one of the guys you're not going to draft this year is Malik Willis or Matt Corral. These two guys played each other over the weekend, and Maz, I don't want to steal anything from you.
Go ahead, bro.
It
was ugly.
These two guys played each other. Ole Miss and Liberty played this weekend. It was one of the worst football games.
That sounds like a bad game. Ole Miss and Liberty.
Ever played. Malik Willis had 3 interceptions against Ole Miss. Now, there is no great quarterback that bit it or ate it as bad as Malik Willis did.
16 of 25, 173
I was
yards.
watching a little bit of this game. It was absolutely horrific. And you know what? Matt Corral wasn't much better.
That was my next question because I saw his stats. Like I didn't get a chance to watch the game, but you and I talked a little bit in text. Because if you look at Matt Corral's stats, I think it were 22 of 27, 342 yards, and a touchdown, if I'm not mistaken. No interceptions, or 2 touchdowns. What about Matt Corral look ugly, Ryan?
Just the fact that he was nothing special. I think if you're going to be a top 5, top 3 pick, you better be special. There's nobody that's that special where you just lay an egg like that. I'm all for laying eggs and having bad games, but clearly neither of these quarterbacks should be a first round pick.
I got another one for you, Sam Howell. I watched that Carolina game. It was a great game against
58-55
against Wake Forest. Phenomenal game.
That's another game we picked. We
did.
North Carolina.
We picked Carolina. We picked them to win.
Yeah.
He's good with his feet. He can't go sideline to sidelines. He can go straight ahead.
Yeah.
But his arm, he missed so many open passes. He definitely does not look like a first-round pick. And that's Sam Howell in Carolina. He's built like a big quarterback, but he's not it either.
And to be a good general manager, I do think, to be a really good general manager, I think you have to project not just 1 draft out, but 2 and 3 drafts out as well. I mean, if you're really playing the long game here, how the Lions can't look at this draft class and not recognize that there is nobody really that's going to be drafted in 2022 that will help them anywhere near the 2022, 2023, or 2024 season. It is almost malfeasance.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those draft classes where you're really looking at that 3rd round pick. You're really looking at that 4th round pick.
And praying.
To come in and help you. This is when you draft one of those wide receivers, in that 3rd round that ends up coming through for him, becomes a guy, because we need wide receivers. We need guys who can make plays.
A Kenny Galladay,
a guy where he just surprises you. He surprises what the Lions, want to do and want to be, and he is that guy. Or a defensive back that comes up for you, or a linebacker, things like that. They're really going to have to put a lot of focus and effort because it just doesn't seem like a talent-driven draft so far. It just doesn't seem like this huge talent-filled draft. It just doesn't. So that means that you're going to have to put a lot of emphasis on the back end of this draft. Now, you're going to put a lot of emphasis on that 3rd round pick, that 4th round pick, that 6th round pick. I don't think we have a 5th. So
I don't have a 4th or 5th.
Oh, there it is. Now that puts you even more behind. I knew that. 6th, 7th.
They got 2 thirds though. They got their 3rd round pick and then a compensatory 3rd. So
first,
you
second,
got
second, third.
2 firsts, a 2nd, and 2 thirds. So of those 5 players, how many? I mean, you got to have 4 starters, right? I mean, you've got to have 4 starters.
Anyone you pick is a
players.
starter.
Yeah.
Anyone you pick
this is real.
Is a starter.
Which means you're swinging for the fence. Which means, I just want to know, what is the level of scouting going on right now in the war room for the Detroit Lions?
Well, apparently they're not scouting the quarterbacks because of the 16 teams that were on hand to see Liberty against Ole Miss.
Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions were not one of them.
Guess what? They didn't miss anything.
Yeah, that's true. But again, you're on a bye week, man. Don't you have to at least do your due diligence and kind of check it out? What would be the reason to not be at that game?
They were hanging with OBJ.
There you go. That's one. What if the Lions had this grand scheme They had this grand plan that was going to work. They knew who they were going to draft next year. They knew players that they were going to pick up in the offseason. What if they have this elaborate grand plan that they're just waiting to execute, and they have to wait till the season is over with to execute it? And we're just sitting here and we're criticizing.
We're the dummies.
Well, we're not dumb, but what we're seeing, we're judging accordingly so. But what they're hiding from us could blow our minds. Like, what if that's what's going on behind that closed doors? It's not, but it's fun to think.
Potentially could. One of the guys I'd like to see the Lions draft this year, and we could do this forever, not in the first round.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Nope. David Bell.
Huh.
I mean, that guy, Purdue.
That's what you call transition right there.
How about Aiden O'Connell?
He was good, too. Real good. Purdue upsets Michigan State. Was it really an upset, though? We can get to that. I mean, we talked about it all week. We'll get to that next. Alex will chime in as well, Michigan State guy. This is Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, The Bottom Line.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Start a new career in an industry that is always essential. Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. I'm talking about the heating and cooling industry. Visit northwesterntech.edu if you want to find out how to come out $77,000 in the bank first year. I'm talking about heating and cooling. Visit now, northwesterntech.edu.
I believe we've got some breaking news. Corey Woods in with the Alex Maya.
Oh, yeah. You guys are ready. I'm smiling.
I'm
smiling. It's a big one.
Here we go.
Dan Campbell just spoke, and they asked the big one. The big one came out. At 4 p.m., will the Detroit Lions add Odell Beckham Jr.? And at 4 p.m., the Detroit Lions are going to pass on Odell Beckham Jr. They are not in the market for him. Dan Campbell went ahead and confirmed it. And, for Maz also wanted to know, why weren't the Detroit Lions one of those 16 teams at that Liberty-Ole Miss game? And Dan Campbell just said it just was not a thought in his mind.
Was not a thought.
In so many words, I'm just paraphrasing what he said. It just wasn't on there. It wasn't on their agenda.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Why would we go see two of the highest-rated quarterbacks of the 2022 class?
Has nothing to do with us.
Thanks, Corey.
Oh, wait, it does.
Right. Why would we do that? Go see the two highest-rated quarterbacks in one spot.
But here's a good question, though. The Lions have been bad all season. They haven't won a game. They're clearly 0-8. So maybe they've already done their due diligence as it relates to Matt Corral and Malik Willis, and they've already counted both of those guys out early on in the year. They've needed a quarterback since training camp. They've known that Malik Willis is the guy. They know that Matt Corral has been the guy. Pickett has come on late for Pitt. They've been scouting for a while, so maybe they just have been ahead of the curve. I'm trying to give them some wins.
That could be the case. Let me get to the weekend, Braylon. Purdue upset Michigan State over the weekend, and they never trailed in the game. 40-29 was the final. 594 yards of total offense for the Purdue Boilermakers. David Bell, 11 catches, 217 yards, a touchdown. Aiden O'Connell, 536 yards through the air. And that is on the heels of the Michigan Wolverines putting up 552 yards of total offense against the Spartans. To put it delicately, the Michigan State defense is atrocious.
Yeah, I wouldn't call this an upset because this is what the Boilermakers do. They actually have already done it once this year, and they did it twice now. 17 times the Purdue Boilermakers have been unranked and beat a team inside the top 5. That is number 1 all time. Here's that list. Illinois, a lot of Big Ten teams in here.
Yeah.
A lot of Big Ten love in here. I don't know if that makes the conference good or bad, but with that being said, we've called this out before. I remember talking about Michigan State secondary and asking the questions about Kimbrough and Snow and well as Henderson. How were they in coverage? How were they in coverage? I saw the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, Zappy had 488 yards passing. I said, okay, is this going to be continuous? And I've seen little breakdowns and things all season. You go to Michigan game. I talked about that. I said, this is going to be interesting. How is it going to match up? Michigan's receivers and Cade McNamara, can he pass the ball? Can he even get the ball down the field? And once again, that Michigan State secondary, something that you still question. And you saw what happened in that game.
They made McNamara have his best game of the year.
385 yards.
This week, right back to where he was.
Exactly. And then now, you insert team here, but insert Purdue and David Bell and Aiden O'Connell, and he racks up another 500 yards of passing through the air. I like this Michigan State team. I just want to focus on the secondary right now. I still like the Michigan State team. Anytime you have a running back as good as Kenneth Walker III, you're always going to be in games. Offensive line has blocked really well in the run game. And Peyton Thorne made some throws Saturday that I really liked. He made some plays with his feet. He's showing more leadership. I like that. He made some bad plays too, but I like everything around them. Even their defensive line, Panishuk, you see some level of strength, some level of toughness. It's just the secondary. They're always in bad spots. They're always in bad position. They don't know where the ball is. They don't have high ball skill. Ball skill meaning you see David Bell, a lot of those, he'll run with the ball and then he'll stop and then the defensive back keeps going when he catches the ball. Their secondary is eating them alive.
Well, that's one of the areas of concern if you're a Spartan fans. I knew that David Bell was getting the football almost every play.
This is true.
How you couldn't make an adjustment to defend against that, I think, is troublesome a little bit because everybody in the stadium knew that David Bell was going to get the ball almost every play or at least get a target. And I think this is a trend. Look, we said it with Michigan when Michigan lost to Michigan State the week prior. All of Michigan's goals are still in front of them. I'll say it with the Spartans. All of Michigan State's goals are in front of them. This is a round robin now. Michigan State, Ohio State, they will all play each other. What will happen? By the way, Michigan State's game against at Ohio State just been announced. 12 noon kickoff in Columbus 2 weeks from last Saturday. So it's a noon kickoff there. Noon kickoff.
This week will be 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock against Maryland.
What's Maryland have in the bag for them? Are they a pretty good offensive team?
I don't know what Maryland has. They got the Tungo Vailoa, the brother.
Right.
Is he any good? I've seen him turn the ball over way too much in big spots. I don't know much about him.
If they roll up 400 yards, 500 yards, then you know that can't get fixed then.
This is what I will say about Michigan State moving forward to the rest of their season. Is we know that their Achilles heel is the secondary. It doesn't get any easier for you, Spartans. It doesn't. Because the best receiving core, arguably, in the country, they reside in Columbus with Njigbo, the freshman who's really poured it on in the last 2 weeks. You look at Mosley, caught a touchdown this past week, and we all know what Chris Olave. We all know what Chris Olave is.
That's wide receiver you.
Exactly. They're number one. Keep in mind, Maryland has thrown for over 350 yards 6 times this year. And Tunga Vailoa's younger brother, Tulia, he's thrown over 356 times this year. You got to play him as well. You guys got to get together that secondary position because I'm telling you guys, like Ryan says, your goals are in front of you, but they are depleting and diminishing with that secondary.
And if you're Michigan State, too, you're certainly not out of it. You mentioned the problems in the secondary, but you got to get a pass rush, too. 2 sacks against the quarterback, Aiden O'Connell, just 2. Wasn't really pressured all game. No. Very comfortable back there. And Purdue had no running game whatsoever. So, again, they're teeing it up for you. I mean, this quarterback, O'Connell, was throwing the ball every play, and you still couldn't get a pass rush against him. So while your goals are still in front of you, I do think if you're an honest Michigan State fan, you have to be really concerned about their defense. 1,146 yards of total offense allowed in the last 2 weeks alone.
Peyton Thorne better be on his game for the next month. That's all you got to say.
Got to outscore teams.
They got to outscore teams.
Yeah, 100%. And you have to outscore teams. Naylor didn't play. That obviously hurt Michigan State. But you have enough on that team where you should have got that win. You should have been able to.
But that is a big injury.
No, it's a major injury, but you still have Reed, you still have Hayward, you still got the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. You still have one of the best quarterbacks statistically in the Big Ten in Peyton Thorne. So with that being said, yes, it's a big loss, But you guys got enough firepower where you can command some time on that clock. You can command some throws. You can make some first downs. You can keep the chains moving and extend drives. Because we know what happens when a team like Purdue, all they want to do is sit on the field and throw the ball. Their rushing attack is non-existent. It's non-existent. So you knew they were just going to sit there and pass the ball. You got to get to the quarterback.
I think MSU kind of made a mistake on Saturday. I would have used K9 more. I mean, they went away from him.
I agree.
In that game. You got to feed your guy. You got to feed him. And you wanted to win the Heisman Trophy, let him go out there and earn it.
Here's where Michigan State and Michigan have to be at least, I don't want to say licking their chops, but feeling fairly decent. Ohio State once again looks pedestrian. You know, they went on the road last week, a very difficult, Nebraska team, and Nebraska fought them tooth and nail again.
They're a POA, man. You never know what they're going to do.
You just
Nebraska.
don't know.
You have no idea.
I mean, we saw them play a tough, close game against Penn State. We've seen them play a tough, close game against Nebraska. Here are the Big Ten standings if you're watching on YouTube. There is just a fight. Minnesota lost
what
from the
happened
weekend.
to Minnesota?
So you've got
best team in the West.
You've got a 4-team tie. You've got a 4-team tie
Stunk it up.
in the West, and Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa.
Whiskey's the best there.
You think
Hands
so?
down.
Purdue
is second best there, if you ask me.
and then again, you look at the right side of this list in the East, and it's Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State.
That ain't going to change either.
No, it won't. Yeah. And maybe we'll find out a little bit more this week when Michigan goes on the road to play at Penn State. This is a noon kickoff game. I think Michigan.
You like that, don't you?
Oh, I love the noon kickoff.
Shots.
I love the noon kickoff. And I think, again, the noon kickoff benefits the Michigan Wolverines.
Of course
you don't
it does.
have to play a night game at Happy Valley.
No
That's a very
whiteout.
difficult place to play at night especially. And I think that Michigan gets a bit of a break here playing at noon. And we'll see what they're made of here, because I think they had a less than stellar performance against Indiana. Defensively, they looked fairly decent, but you're going up against a quarterback that's a freshman, that's a third-string quarterback, essentially. He really didn't have a great game at all, but Michigan stood up.
Yeah, Michigan stood up. And what I'm liking about Michigan as I watch as the season goes on, as we get to the latter, we're in November now. This is where the money is made in college football. The November and the bread, as they say. The November and the bread. Because all the money is made in November. That's when you got to get those wins. That's when you play those rivalry games. That's when you play those tough games, those tooth and nails, like Ohio State just played against Nebraska, a tooth and nail game. Because Nebraska played Michigan State tough too, and Nebraska played Michigan tough as well. But with Michigan, I like that they're finding players, and players are starting to make plays at the end of the season. Like, look at Schoonmaker. What did I talk about?
Oh,
so good.
Two scores.
What did we talk about earlier in the year? We said Michigan is
Keep
used to having a tight
in.
end. I was talking about this all season. Used to having those tight end guys like Jake Butt. Like, they haven't had that. And then the Nebraska game, you see starting to make some throws to the tight end. Now later on in the year against Indiana, you see Schoonmaker 2 touchdowns. You see Schoonmaker blocking. You see Schoonmaker with some big blocks in there too, and he's got good energy, good swag. But you see Brown starting to get off.
Where was All, by the way?
He was out.
Yeah, he was out.
There's another guy you plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they are superb at the tight end position.
You see Anthony. Made another big catch in there. You see Cade made some good throws. Cade makes some throws that look really nice. He only threw for 165 yards, because obviously J.J. McCarthy played as well. He had 55 yards passing. But Cade made some nice throws. He found some nice windows, took his time. He sat in there. Haskins, when they give him the ball, Haskins is a beast. Yeah. Haskins might be a better running back than they show, because they're splitting time with him and Corn. You're doing the thunder and lightning deal. One is flash, one is
They're both so
physical.
good together.
Every time I look up, I see Haskins jumping over somebody. I see him extending a drive. I see him running through somebody. I see him getting in the end zone. He might be a much better running back than Michigan is allowing him to be. He may need more carries, and it might slow the game down for Michigan and help them out.
I'm surprised nobody has teed off on him jumping over someone yet. He's going to get you can't keep doing that. That's going to get you hurt.
I do give Cade McNamara a ton of credit, and he has gotten better throughout the season, and perhaps I owe that young man an apology, because I've been one of the guys that was calling for J.J. McCarthy, and one of the things that Stan said maybe last week or 2 weeks ago was, wait your turn. You know, these guys that come to Michigan, they want to get in right away. Did you say that? Was that you?
He was piggybacking off of what happened.
on you.
I kept telling
that was you.
Don't give Stan that.
But wait your turn. I apologize.
I'm sorry,
Braylon.
Dan. I stole your thunder.
I apologize, Braylon, but
okay.
it is. Wait your turn.
Yeah.
You know, this kid is playing really, really nice. Cade McNamara.
Nice,
He's not
I like
doing
that.
He's not doing anything to beat you. He's making all the throws. The one thing I would like to see Cade McNamara do to keep defenses honest is pull the ball out and run around the end. You got a free pass.
They're saving that, man.
Yeah,
they're saving that play.
Yeah, they're saving that play.
You see AJ Henning? AJ Henning got another carry, another reverse. Just give it to him at different spots. We knew it was coming a mile away, and he still was able to get 11, 12 yards.
Harms is a sucker in everybody, man, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the deal?
Jay Bilas coming up 10 minutes from now, but I want to, next, I want to stay with Michigan State if I could. Jim Harbaugh and Mel Tucker taking two very different stances on one issue. Tell you what that is. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire a graduate of Northwestern Tech. Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, gang, I want to tell you about Lady Jane's haircuts for men. You know, this hair looks pretty good. I know it does. However, it's a little bushy, and we need a little help. So, connected with my girl Brooklyn here at the 15 in Woodward location. So tomorrow, you know what's going to happen, Braylon?
What's going to happen tomorrow, buddy?
I'm going to get a hot lather neck shave.
Ooh.
I'm going to get a washout, a shampoo.
Ooh.
And I'm going to get a cut. And you know why?
Are you still going to come to work after all that?
Oh, I'm doing it at work. I am going to be very easy breezy tomorrow because all you got to do when you walk into Lady Jane's is you got to do three things. You got to walk in, you got to sign in, and you got to sit down.
There it is.
That's it.
There it is.
And when you walk out, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in anytime. Open 7 days a week, 10-8. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Very happy for Lady Jane's partnership here at Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey along with us. If you are listening on the radio, 93.5 The Roar, 99.1, 94.7 HD2 FM. We are on from 6 to 8:30 on those airwaves, and we certainly appreciate anybody listening in on that.
Oh, we definitely appreciate that, man. It's nothing like expanding your brand. It's nothing like expanding with your original followers, man. So we appreciate you guys for supporting us. In the beginning, you guys have given us the reason to do homework, do research, come here and try to provide a good show. It's been going good, so we expanded. So we owe that to you guys. We appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. And, of course, if you want to watch us on YouTube, just head on over to YouTube and search Woodward Sports Network. We pop right up. We're the bottom line. Yep. And, of course, Big D Energy is on there as well. 11 to 1, Morning Wood on from 8 to 10. We and don't forget the Woodward Bets show on at 6 o'clock. They're doing a great job. They're doing a great job, those guys.
They picked out Purdue, didn't they? Didn't Beer give us Purdue on Friday?
Without hesitation.
Without hesitation.
Without hesitation. So.
Jim Harbaugh and Mel Tucker spoke to the media today, and I just want to set this Jim Harbaugh soundbite up for you just in case you have a hard time hearing it. It's Angelique Shingelis. Last week at the media session, Jim Harbaugh said that he had submitted a couple of plays to the Big Ten officiating crew.
And we knew what those plays were.
Yeah, right. The Aiden Hutchinson touchdown that was reversed.
Kenneth Walker touchdown.
On replay, exactly. So Angelique Shingelis from the Detroit News Michigan writer is following up on those submission of plays. So here's their exchange earlier today.
Mistakes were made.
So you heard
that was the response. Yeah, they made a mistake.
They made a mistake on that call.
Yeah, and others.
So Jim Harbaugh says the Big Ten admitted it made a mistake with the refs overturning the Aiden Hutchinson touchdown versus MSU, amongst other calls in the game. Why would Harbaugh bring this up publicly? Why wouldn't he just kind of go ahead and say, on to Penn State or whatever the case may be? Do you want to crack at that first? Because I've got a thought on this.
Go ahead.
Here's my thought. If you go back to 2006, when Michigan lost to Ohio State, in that back and forth lobbying between Florida and Michigan, every detail mattered.
Yeah.
Okay, if you are Michigan and you win the rest of your games, and again, this is a hypothetical, okay? I'm not saying they're going to win the rest of their games, but if they do, and they don't even make it to the Big Ten championship game, they're going to be on the outside looking in. How do you put a team in the playoff that doesn't even win their division of their conference? I think this could be a rallying cry for Jim Harbaugh. If not for a bad call in that game, we're undefeated. We got screwed. I'm pulling at straws here as to why you would bring this up and not just move on, because I'm past this game now.
Right.
How can't you be past this game if you're Jim Harbaugh? And maybe he's playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers, but that's the one aspect that I would think of, is that you are going to need every tool in your toolbox come a time where you win out and you don't even make it to Indianapolis. How do you go ahead about stating your case? And that could be one of them. If not for being screwed in East Lansing, we're an unbeaten team.
Every coach, every week, whether it's college or whether it's in the NFL, they always pick out some calls that they send in. Like, this is nothing new. This isn't something Jim Harbaugh is doing. Every coach does this. If you're in the SEC, you send the calls into the SEC, and vice versa. In the NFL, they do the same thing. I remember coaches sending things in, and sometimes they'll send you back and they say, no, they got the call right. Very rarely will they send you back and say, oh, yeah, we messed that up. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. There's nothing that you can do about it.
They still haven't apologized to the Lions for the 30-second clock going against the Ravens.
Right. There you go. Exactly. So it's more of a moral victory type deal. The only thing I can think about is everyone knew what that call was. Even Michigan State fans that were watching the game could see clearly that play should have been overturned, but it was, and it is what it is. Jim wanted to get that call, make sure people knew. That was a BS call. But to your point, everything will matter at that point. I mean, that play happened, first half? That was in
second quarter.
That was in the second quarter, so not as much pizzazz and backing if it was a fourth quarter play. But to your point, that changes the complexity of the game. Now
going to halftime too, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It does change the complexity of the game, but I'm saying there was another half after that. It was a blown call.
What would you say is the reason for bringing it up and not just kind of going past it? Now, I know Angelique asked him the question, and he was just answering it. Could he have just said, you know what, Angelique, we're on to Penn State. Yes, I got a response, but, we're on to Penn State.
I like what he did.
Yeah.
He didn't harp on it.
No.
He admitted the Big Ten said, we're sorry, we messed up. We messed up a couple calls.
Yeah.
And he said it. There it is. Big Ten screwed up. Call him out on it.
Like Matt said, he kept it short and sweet. He said, hey, they messed up, and there it is.
So conversely, Mel Tucker was asked today about a call. Did you have that tweet? Here it is. Here's the quote. This is from Matt Charbonneau. Tucker was asked about Simeon Barrow's targeting call. Here's the quote. I don't like to talk about bad calls. That's not part of our culture. We don't like to make excuses about anything. I think that makes your program soft and gives your players and coaches a way out. How about that for a dichotomy? He is calling out clearly Jim Harbaugh afterwards for complaining about the officials in the Michigan State game.
Here's an interesting question about that, because I can see it from both. I can see it from both sides, and I think both sides are right.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense, I think both sides are right. I think what Tuck said is 100% right, and I think what Harbaugh said, and the fact that he was acknowledging that, I sent a call in and it was overturned. Here's the question though: would he have went after Harbaugh like that? Because he's clearly going after Harbaugh.
Clearly,
would he have gone after Harbaugh if they hadn't lost to Purdue?
No.
So that was interesting. That was a question. So if they beat Purdue, and then this happens, what's Tuck's reaction then?
I don't know, but it feels it would have been a different. Yeah,
it felt like salty.
Right.
Like you're mad that one. I think in your mind, Harbaugh's trying to take away from your win against Michigan, which was a good win. And you and I both gave them kudos, and we left it alone. We mentioned that play for 2 seconds, but we left it alone. But now you lose to Purdue. Now it's Michigan State. This is what Michigan State did. Now you're no longer standing on your own. Mel Tucker had gotten to his own Michigan State. He was removed from what Michigan State typically does, but now you're a part of it.
All right, we can put a pin in this. We'll get back into some college football talk. Want to get into some college basketball college basketball talk
there
next
we go.
With one of the greats, Jay Bilas, ESPN college basketball analyst, going to join us next. Michigan State and Kansas tomorrow from the Garden. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
College basketball really gets going tomorrow. It is Michigan State and Kansas on ESPN in the State Farm Champions Classic, Madison Square Garden. What better place to kick off the season? Kentucky and Duke in the 9:30 game. We are very excited to be joined by one of the best guys out there right now and for a long, long time, Jay Bilas, ESPN college basketball analyst. Jay, thanks so much for the time.
Well, if I'm so great, why do you taunt me with a Haircuts for Men commercial as if I need a haircut? That was uncalled for.
Jay, I'll tell you though, if you get that scalp, the hot shampoo, lather. The hot lather neck shave, I mean, you still get that. It's real good over here.
That's what I've been reduced to is a warm chamois and a neck shave. That's all I got.
You look great, Jay.
Hey,
Come
Jay,
on,
you
man.
look amazing. I would never do you like that, man. And that wasn't his intent. We promise, Jay. We appreciate you.
We got to pay the bills somehow, Jay.
This is true. This is true. But no, we're excited, and we talked about it before you came on. This is the first time in 10 years Michigan State hasn't been ranked, and being here in the state of Michigan, it's like, oh man, what? Michigan State's not ranked. I want to talk about that. Like, what does that mean for Tom Izzo's team, especially tomorrow against Kansas? Who do we have to look forward to? Max Christie? Is he a guy?
He may be the guy. It's interesting, Braylon. I mean, not having the team ranked, maybe a little bit of a slap at Michigan State for what happened last year, but I think it's really an acknowledgement that there are just a lot of question marks that we don't really know much about some of what Tom has. And, he had point guard issues last year. It wasn't a great defensive team and wasn't one of his better rebounding teams, and they really struggled. And this is a team that early in the season was in the top 5. They won at Cameron Indoor Stadium in this event that wasn't played, all together. They parsed it out. But early in the season, we thought, man, this is a great passing team. They got everything. And they didn't have anybody to key the defense from the point guard position. They didn't have anybody to kind of get the team into the right spots on offense. This year, they've got that, both with A.J. Hoggard as a sophomore, and then they've got a transfer from Northeastern, Tyson Walker, who's really good defender. He scored about 19 a game last year. I think the biggest issue is going to be, can Tom get him to score a little bit more? Because he's been really unselfish so far. I think he's going to have to call his own number from time to time. But Max Christie is one of the best freshmen that he's ever recruited at the guard spot. He's right up there with Gary Harris in my judgment as to how good he is. And then I think Joey Hauser's going to have a great year. He had a good year last year, but he's better than he played. And I think having a stable point guard position will really help him as well. So I think Michigan State will outpace their non-ranking in the preseason, and I think they'll be one of the tougher, grittier teams Tom has had there in the last 5 or 6 years.
And Jay, isn't that what Tom Izzo loves to almost a little bit? That team or not much expected of them, not ranked, and you kind of use that as fuel throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, everybody says they like that when that's what they have.
He'd rather have Ermanni Bates.
What they really like is having the best players, and I think he'd rather be ranked number one, knowing that his guys are worthy of number one. But that's not the kind of year this is going to be. But what I think will be fun, not only for fans and for people like us, but for Tom Izzo and his staff, will be, this is not a team full of stars. It's a team full of really good players. And I think when they've been sort of that gritty, tough team, they've had great years. And it's really rewarding. It's rewarding to do it any type of way. I don't ever remember somebody winning a championship saying, really wasn't fun winning the way we did. Everybody likes winning. But I think this kind of team can be especially rewarding and fun if they come together, which I think they will, because they've got the talent, and a bunch of guys have gotten better from last year, whether it's Marcus Bingham Jr. or Malik Hall, guys like that. They don't have a plug and play star. You just don't know, who's their best player going to be. I think it'll probably be Max Christie or Joey Hauser, but you don't know. And then their most important position is going to be the point, because when you don't have competent, not competent, that's the wrong way to put it, but if you don't have very good point guard play, it's like not having a good quarterback in football, or not having good pitching in baseball. You can overcome it, but it's really hard to do that.
Talking to Jay Bilas, ESPN college basketball analyst. Jay, I want to transition over to the Michigan Wolverines, now number 6 in the country, preseason AP, Juwan Howard's third year. I mean, just your first of all, your assessment of Juwan Howard through two plus seasons at Michigan following John Beilein's run.
Well, Juwan is not only a great basketball man, he's a great person, and has proven that whether he was a player in college, professionally, when he coached in the pros, and then has coached in college. And one of the great things for me about watching Juwan and others like him have great success in college coming from the NBA is that it sort of puts an end to this narrative. I don't know how it starts, that college coaches can't coach in the NBA, or NBA coaches can't coach in college, or all that, like college coaches can't coach in the NFL, or vice versa. Most of coaching, look, there are bad coaches out there. I'm not suggesting there aren't. But most of coaching success comes from, one, your players, and two, the situation and fit that you're in. So, as an example, when Nick Saban went to Miami, if they had gotten Drew Brees, I think things would have looked a lot different for him with the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. It's not that he couldn't coach in the NFL. It's not that other guys can't come from the NFL and coach in college. But Juwan has recruited really well. He's built a really good culture. He's got the number 1 recruiting class coming in next year. He's got a top 5 recruiting class there now, with Caleb Houston leading the way. And they play really well. Like, if Isaiah Livers hadn't got hurt last year, that was a Final Four team that could have busted in and maybe made it to the championship game. I don't think anybody would have beaten, anybody outside of Baylor would have beaten Gonzaga, and I don't think anybody out of Gonzaga could have beaten Baylor. But they had, they would have been a Final Four team in my opinion if Livers were healthy.
Jay Bilas joins us, ESPN college basketball analyst. Speaking of Juwan Howard, you have coaches that are not with us anymore. In other words, ones that have retired, and it's like a new era of college basketball guys coming in. You got Anthony Hardaway in Memphis, Juwan Howard here, and you got a guy like Coach K leaving in Duke. This is a farewell season. What do you take from that? Is it the new changing of the guard? Are we going to see these young basketball players that used to play for these teams come in and start coaching their own teams?
Yeah, it's just kind of the way of the world, Maz. I mean, when I was a kid, I grew up in Los Angeles, and I think I was in 5th or 6th grade when John Wooden retired. And he was 65 years old. I thought he was the oldest man that had ever lived. Yes. And now guys are coaching into their mid-70s. Coach K is 75. He's 10 years older than Wooden was. And he seems as young now as he was 10 years ago. I know he could still do this if he wanted to, but I think he's looking at his family going, my wife deserves a little bit of a break here. We should hang out with our grandkids and do some other things. He thinks it's time. So, look, I mean, I think we're going to miss Coach K a lot. I know I will. But at the same time, you kind of want to acknowledge this is kind of the way it is. And, look, football did just fine without Bear Bryant and John McKay and all these guys. We miss them, but everybody rolled on. And I'm sure the world will end after this show ends, but they're not going to miss the rest of us. And I think when Roy Williams just retired, I just saw him the other day, and I remember after spending some time with them, leaving there going, God, I'm really going to miss him. But then I went to Carolina's practice. I watched him practice, and we kind of do move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this to me is, the game's going to move on to the next thing, but Roy Williams and Coach K are going to move on to the next thing in their lives too, and that's why they're doing this, so that they can move on to the next thing. And so it's just I sound like the Lion King here. It's like the circle of life, but the game's going to be fine without these guys. But the beauty of this year to me is we get to celebrate Coach K. And we get one last run with them, and it's going to be fun as long as we don't overdo it. As long as we don't say the last time he'll put on his socks.
We will.
We will, and that's okay. We will, and that's okay. That's right. We're all fans.
Hey, Jay.
I don't want socks for the last time in the garden.
Jay, I think my next question sets up perfect. After we talked about Juwan Howard, you talked about John Wooden. So the next thing that makes sense is to talk about Mike Cronin and his UCLA Bruins, number 2 in the country, led by Johnny Juzang. Talk about how good they are and they can be. Because I'm a big fan of Johnny Juzang, and I think that he could be a huge, impactful player in the NBA.
Yeah, he's an All-American. I mean, he started at Kentucky. He's from California. Went to Kentucky. He actually reclassed and went to Kentucky early. So he's still a pretty young player. But didn't play a ton at Kentucky, was known as a really good shooter, but just didn't get on the floor much. Transferred back to UCLA and takes him to a Final Four and becomes an All-American. So for those who say that, I don't like the transfer culture and the transfer portal, there are a lot of success stories out of transfers. And, you could sit and say, people could sit and say, well, he should have fought through adversity at Kentucky. There are different ways to do this. UCLA's got everybody back, and they added to everybody coming back with a high school All-American named Peyton Watson. So they're legit. I actually might have them number 1 over Gonzaga because they're older than Gonzaga. Gonzaga's really talented again, and they've got a superstar in Chet Holmgren, a freshman 7-footer that can, you've not seen many guys like him in the past. That have come in and played at the level he can play at as a freshman, but UCLA's got everything. The only thing they're going to have to do now is they're going to have to do it with a target on their back. Like last year, they had like the innocent climb to the Final Four. Now it's expected. A little different when it's expected, but I think they'll handle it really well.
Jay, you may have just answered it, but if you had to be nailed down to a Final Four pick or a national champion, just say Gonzaga, UCLA, and then who else?
I would probably put Michigan in there, and I do like Purdue a lot. So that's 2 Big Ten teams after the Big Ten was the best conference in the country last year and laid multiple eggs in the NCAA tournament.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that was necessarily the conference as much as just one of those things where the league as a whole underperformed in the tournament relative to how good the league performed the regular season. But Purdue's, they can shoot it. They got really good depth. They got star power with Jaden Ivey and Travion Williams, and they've got size across the front line. Zach Edey's like 7'4", and you don't see many guys like that. So I think Purdue will be Purdue and Michigan is the 2 best teams in the Big Ten, and I think the Big Ten could very well, along with the Southeastern Conference, be the best league again.
Hey, Jay, last thing before we let you go. Thanks a million for coming on, as always. But
absolutely.
I want to give a shout-out to our favorite, Dickie V, Coach V, fighting it out, beating cancer, beating its ass. And just wanted to make sure you tell them that this boys from Detroit, give them their best. We love them.
I appreciate you saying that. We'll definitely do that. We're going to miss Dick this week in New York. He's getting his cancer treatments right now. He's got lymphoma. And while, he's 82 years old, any cancer diagnosis is bad news. But the good news among the bad is that it's a 90% cure rate. There's no surgery involved for Dick Vitale, and it's chemotherapy. which is difficult. And but he's soldiering on, and he's keeping his spirits up, and I know the well wishes mean a lot to him, especially when they come from Motown. He has a special place in his heart for Detroit and the University of Detroit and the Pistons, even though they gave him the Ziggy.
Hey, it led to his next career, right? It led to his best career. Hey, Jay, we can't thank you enough for this. And next time you're in Ann Arbor, perhaps it's probably the closest you'll be to us.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll send a car. You can come get a hot lather next year.
Yeah. There you go.
That'd be great. My bottom of my neck and my back are getting a little hairy.
Tell me about
we'll
it.
take you to Zingerman's. We'll take you to Zingerman's.
Tell me about it. The shirt stops with the hair, but they can
Thanks,
keep
Jay.
going.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jay. All right, we'll be watching tonight ESPN, Kansas and Michigan State, Kentucky and Duke. Jay
Tomorrow
Bilas,
it starts,
ESPN
baby.
college basketball analyst, and just an all-out great guy. We thank him so much for being on with us.
You know what I love about us having this show? Because this is our show. This is Alex, this is Fish, this is Maz, this is you, this is me, this is our show. It allows you to get in contact with people that you really admire and really respect. And this is the second time that we had Jay on, and Jay's one of those guys, like, to me, he's the best. Like, he's the best at college. It's not even close in terms of his skill, like his analysis, his breakdown, but it extends past basketball. But just had to throw that out there. Really a big fan and admire when he comes on our show whenever Maz asks. So we really appreciate you, Jay, and Maz, appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Absolutely. All right, guys, I want to get back to the NFL. Weird day in the NFL yesterday. We'll go around the league.
Not for me. I was having fun.
We'll go around the league. Maz will tell us his survivor pool story.
I want to hear that.
We'll get to that next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
Woodward Sports is giving you a chance to sit front row on Thanksgiving. All you have to do is survive our squid game. Nope, our turkey games. Listen every day to the Morning Woodward Show at 9 a.m. Big D Energy at noon. And the bottom line at 3 p.m. for your chance to qualify. The winner of turkey games will get tickets to the Thanksgiving Day Detroit game.
Hey, it's Thanksgiving. Shouldn't you be in Detroit losing a football game right now?
Plus, a turkey. So if you think you can master our turkey games challenges, watch, listen, and win. Make sure you're following @Woodward Sports on all social media or go to woodwardsports.com for additional chances to qualify. May the best turkey win.
All right, hey, gang. I want to tell you about Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue. You want to buy a car, they've got anything. You hear about that chip shortage? Don't worry about that chip shortage.
It's a ruse.
It is. Braylon, they got it. They can get you anything you want, whenever you want. Also, on their pre-owned lot, any make, any model. If you don't want to buy a car, how about selling them your car? You walk out with thousands. It's a quick, easy day of process. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You go in today, you say, I want to sell my car. You walk out with thousands of dollars. Les Stanford is your authorized lease return center. Doesn't matter whether you lease your car or own your car. They are your authorized lease return center. Check them out today. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com, 313-565-6000. That number again, 313-565-6000. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Find new roads.
You read those Les Stanford reads pretty good.
Oh,
over there,
man, I got them right up here.
You're related or something.
Right upstairs. Got those together for you. Okay, so just quickly to recap before we get into the NFL, Jay Bilas has UCLA, Gonzaga, Michigan, hail to the victors.
Yep.
Hail, if anybody was listening to the beginning of the show. And Purdue. So there you go. There you go. Shall we? He did not say the defending champion Baylor. Did not say.
I won some money on Baylor last year.
Nope.
I was hoping that the men and women won. I always like it when the men and women win and you win the same sport.
They needed Brittany Griner back.
Yeah, Baylor tried. Baylor tried. They put up a good effort, and they could not get it done in the end.
Yeah, so that was good. I do want to get into some NFL talk. Because it was a weird Sunday.
Exactly.
on the football field, let's start with the Browns and Bengals. The Cleveland Browns just absolutely decimated the Cincinnati Bengals. 41-16 was the final. Fish is going to give me a little bit of music here as we go through these games. Let's do it. What do you say, Braylon? Your Browns.
Yeah, my Browns. The interesting thing about this is, so on one hand, you look and you see that they blew out the Bengals. Baker Mayfield, he had 216 yards. Looked like they got back on track. Looked like they got rid of Odell Beckham. It looked like they cleared the distraction out of the locker room. They got Nick Chubb involved. Had 100-plus rushing as well as 77. Pass receiving, where he's not a huge receiving, out of the backfield. Defense played well. But I don't know if it was, like, as I watch it, I'm like, they couldn't have done this when Odell was playing. Because it seemed like Baker put the ball wherever he wanted to. It seemed like he easily was placing the ball down the field. Like you see Donovan Peoples-Jones, shout out to the University of Michigan. He had the big touchdown, 2 catches for 86 yards. You see Nick Chubb, 77 yards. You see some other players making catches. It seemed like they could do that same thing when Odell was there. Why did it change so much when Odell wasn't there? He's talking about forcing the ball and having. If you're a good quarterback, you're a good quarterback. Like, if somebody's open, somebody's open. And also, don't let the stats fool you, because he did only throw 14 times, and they always had good field position in that game. They had 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown by Denzel Ward, Ohio State. They had Troy Hill had 2 interceptions, got them at the midfield, as well as fumble recovery at the 30-yard line. So they got a lot of really good field position in this game.
One of the things about the Cleveland Browns, too, and we know this in sports, you always hear addition by subtraction.
Yep.
Is there a situation where, some talented players just simply don't fit on certain rosters? Maybe, and I don't know this, I'm just saying, maybe Odell Beckham Jr. did not fit, while talented, one of the best talents in the game, just didn't fit on that roster.
Yeah, you're 100% right. There are some times when it just doesn't work. You can't fit the square in the round hole, that old cliche, which is true. I've never seen it happen. I've never seen it work. But at the same time, Odell's an individual that is really good at route running. He can catch the ball when thrown to him. Like, he's open a lot, as his father clearly showed the national audience. Like Baker Mayfield, yes, he could have done the same things with Odell. I really think, and this is just me, he didn't want Odell there. He wanted to be the star of that team. He didn't want Odell there. So he did whatever he had to get Odell out of the way. And now here they are. One game removed without Odell. And he goes out there and, like I said, the stats are a little tricky because he got a lot of help from the defense. Guys made plays, but it just seemed a lot smoother. It seemed like he could have done some of that when Odell was there, man.
Listen, man, I didn't play for the NFL or the Browns. You did.
You've watched it forever, though,
I
so
did.
you have
But I'm
knowledge.
going to tell you this. There's no way
I could never tell by looking at you.
There's no way he didn't want Odell Beckham there. There's no way that he wanted him out of there, unless he was a real SOB. I will tell you this. The Browns are playing with a quarterback with one arm. The guy probably shouldn't even be playing, but he's playing. He's gutting through it. As long as they have Nick Chubb running and Kareem Hunt coming up, maybe here any week now off the IR, whatever they call it these days, the Browns are going to be a tough out going forward. That's all I got to say.
No, you're right.
Certainly. Go ahead.
No, he's right. Nick Chubb was the second best running back in the league the last couple of years, and now that Derrick Henry's not in the league, he's the number one running back in the league. Kareem Hunt will come back in a couple weeks from IR. That'll help them out as well. Hit him off the best running game the past 2 years in the NFL. Yeah, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they couldn't have success with Odell. Maybe there was something deeper there.
It had to be.
Maybe there's a weight lifted off of Stefanski's shoulders of calling the plays. Maybe for Baker Mayfield, he doesn't have to look around and see number 13 like, oh man, I got to get him the ball. And then it's taken away from other players coming in the game. As you just made me correct myself in that rhetoric.
That's the deal.
Cowboys lose to the Broncos 30-16. It was 30-0 Denver. I'm throwing this one out. Just a stinker.
You do, but that was ugly.
I'm throwing it out.
That was ugly.
I'm not taking anything from it.
I 100% throw it out completely. You just know that calf strain did bother Dak to some extent. It couldn't find that rhythm. And you do see that the Dallas, their rushing defense is trash. Their rushing defense has been trash all year. Stat-wise, they have been bad. And then yesterday, they really got exposed. But I'm still throwing it out. 190 rushing by the Broncos. We're still throwing it out. Cowboys, you get a pass.
Here's the kicker on that. Teddy Bridgewater was one of the players. They traded Von Miller, of course, as we know, to the Rams. People were asking for Teddy Bridgewater. Denver said no to all offers. They kept him, and he played well yesterday. And, hey, Teddy Bridgewater's a survivor, man.
One thing about Teddy that people love is, one, he doesn't beat himself. He doesn't have a level of fumbles, doesn't have a level of interceptions. Now, he had that game or two. We had a little bit of that, nothing too crazy, but he's a leader. He's a listener. Guys can rally around him. He's a guy that's been through a lot. You see what he went through in Minnesota with the injury, almost career ending. And to come back from that mass says a lot about this guy and who he is, the spirituality, and that's why the team wants to have him around. He's
Wish
a guy,
he was here.
Yeah, dependability and accountability, yeah.
I'd take him right here, right now.
I would, yeah.
I don't know if it's Cam Newton or not, but New Orleans Saints have to do something before they throw their season away. The Atlanta Falcons go into New Orleans and beat them 27-25. Trevor Siemian, decent day on the stat line, but they were just 3 of 10 on third down. You have to do something if you're New Orleans. You cannot throw this season away just because Jameis is out.
I think we thought, and I think an extension of us, Sean Payton thought his defense was better than it was. And I was thinking the same thing last week, so I'm guilty as well. I think he thought that his defense was good enough that he can just use Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian will be a fill-in piece, and he could make some plays and maybe add some free agent pickups or something like that. You can't. You absolutely can't. That defense looked good, but they didn't look great. They didn't look like world beaters. They didn't look like the team of like the Baltimore Ravens in 2000, that they didn't need an offense, although they still had Shannon Sharp. Yeah, they're going to have to do something because he wasn't bad, but he's not. But what's your end game?
I don't
Listen,
know.
man, don't bother talking about them. They're not a contender. They're not.
The New Orleans Saints?
They're not a contender.
You're not going to play to get in?
Who cares if they get in? They're not winning. I'm telling you right now. No, they're not winning. They can't compete this year. They're finished. They are.
Well, there's 9 games left to play.
I don't care if they win all 9.
Mike
you could have injuries. You ever hear of that?
They ain't gonna win.
No. Okay. I don't. I disagree with you.
That's fine.
I mean, I wouldn't pick them as a favorite to do anything. But if you're in, man, you got a chance. I got to take a break. When we come back, I want to ask about Buffalo. I want to ask about the Packers. I want to ask about the Ravens. We got a lot more to do NFL-wise. Ermanni Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. Packers could be the best team in the NFL.
They could.
Yes, sir.
Packers could be the best team in the NFL. We shall see.
Okay, you thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
All right, check this out. It
It
took exploring 50 different formulas, hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy is the best tasting, smoothest vodka on the market. That's from Adam and Mike, twin brothers out of Michigan State. They created Gypsy. 50 different formulas. It took them to get this right.
They got it right.
Tons of different tasty vegans. Tons of different tasting events. And they finally got it right. Gypsy is gluten-free and corn distilled 6 times using artesian spring water. Check that out. You get a drink with artesian spring water infused in it. Sounds like the one for you, doesn't it? Support local brothers here from Michigan. Like I said, Adam and Mike, try a bottle today. Ask for it by name, Gypsy. And remember, always drink responsibly.
Absolutely. Please drink responsibly. But if you drink, please drink Gypsy vodka. We love their partnership here on Woodward Sports Network. Continuing to go around the NFL, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. You look at some of these games yesterday. The Jacksonville Jaguars won for the second time this year. They were 15-point underdogs.
They didn't quit, did they, on Urban?
To the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills score 6 points. Jacksonville beats them 9-6.
Uncle Herb.
How does that happen?
It doesn't. It doesn't happen.
Except the Manning curse is alive and well.
Yeah, the Manning curse definitely is alive and well. And how that happens? You know how that happens? One, you have a team that's playing. It's a surprise. Like you think this team is out of it. You think this team doesn't have anything. You don't think this team is playing for anything. And you think another team. You're like, we're the Buffalo Bills. You overlook it. It's a trap game. People know about trap games. The other side of it is that they haven't had a running game all season. The running game is very pedestrian and very average. Very average for them. And then you start to see it in this game. It showed up. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't extend. They couldn't move the chains. And Josh Allen looked amazing. But wait a minute. I'm not talking about the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. I'm talking about the safety for Jacksonville Jaguars.
That Josh Allen.
Intercepted Josh Allen. Fumble recovery to the house. And also, he sacked, intercepted,
there it is.
Fumble recovery. There it is.
Josh Allen on Josh Allen crime.
Nah, man, it's terrible crime right there. That is tough right there, man.
That's a great follow, that WTF follow. That is a very good follow on Twitter and Instagram. WTF stats. Fun.
Gassed. The Chiefs beat the Packers 13-7.
No, they didn't.
I don't know if this is.
They backed into that.
I don't know if this is more
They won
about
on technicality.
the Kansas City Chiefs or more about the Green Bay Packers and how bad Jordan Love is.
It's about both. It's about how good that defense is for the Green Bay Packers, how they have fought back from that first game of the season against – everybody saw the first game of the season against the Saints. And we were all ready to write off the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers and the defense. The defense wasn't there. And then we watched them play against the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football, and we still said their defense was trash. We talked about that, but slowly but surely, you're starting to see them make plays in the secondary. You're starting to see them make plays on the line of scrimmage. Rashawn Gary actually has been cited. There's been some Rashawn Gary, former Michigan standout. There's been some signs of his. They're getting pressure. They're getting push to the quarterback. So, excuse me.
Bless you.
So, thank you. But the big thing is you're getting that on defense now, and Jordan Love wasn't that good, and there's no excuse because he's been there 18 months.
If Mike White can come in off the street and throw for 405.
Hey, Kansas City threw the kitchen sink at that kid yesterday. They were rushing 6 and 7 at a time. Now, if he had a good touch on the ball, he had guys open in the middle of the field. Troy Aikman was beside himself saying, listen, just go to the middle of the field. It's one-on-one. But the kid doesn't have a touch on the ball yet. He doesn't have
it. It's been 4 years.
But he hasn't played a game yet.
Don't you practice?
I know. Look, he ain't Aaron Rodgers, man. Okay? And you know what?
But he's not even Mike White.
You screwed your whole team up by drafting this kid 2 years ago, pissing off Aaron Rodgers, and here's what you got.
It's only been 2 years. It feels like it's been 6 years.
It feels like 6 years, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's only been a couple of years.
There's been it was tough to watch because it was tough to watch Jordan Love miss throws, miss guys were there. It was tough to watch, especially knowing that they should have beat that Chiefs team. And then it was tough watching the Kansas City Chiefs. They're abysmal.
They are abysmal.
They're abysmal. That's the best word that comes to mind is abysmal. Like you watch, and we talked about it. We've put so much pressure on Patrick Mahomes, like, giving him this mythological stance, this mythological putting him on this podium, paying him. Well, I didn't pay him, but they paid him $500 million. Like, that's his salary. The Super Bowl win, the Super Bowl loss. You talked about how good he was, crazy things that he could do, not looking and all that. Well, when that matters is when it comes back to haunt you. Is now all of a sudden when you're trying to do that same stuff, and we let you get away with it before because you were good at it. It was great to see you do the no-look stuff. It was great to see you just heave it and do all this kind of cute stuff and fancy stuff. Now it's not working, and you're still trying to do it.
They're done, man.
You're still trying
They're done.
And this is the bad thing I feel bad for Mahomes. He's 26 years old. He just had a baby. He's married. He's young. He's figuring it out. He's dealing with adversity. And he's dealing with adversity on a bad team. That defense is trash. That offensive line is injured, banged up. Some of the moves didn't work. No running game. Carlos Edwards is out. Wide receivers
he fumbles anyway.
And even the wide receivers, like Tyreek Hill is dropping passes this year at an exponential rate.
They're beating him up.
Travis Kelce is dropping passes. This is a beat-up team.
Chiefs
it might be time to let it go.
Chiefs might make the playoff, but they're done.
Yeah. They don't have it.
They're not going to win a playoff game.
Listen, Mahomes had two good moments yesterday. Yeah. The first drive and the last drive when he hit Travis Kelce in the middle of the field on a long third down, and then he hit Tyreek Hill on the sideline when Packers could have got the ball back. Besides that, he stunk.
But the other thing about that, and this is what I want them to get back to, this is the little hope that we have for you as the Kansas City Chiefs, Eric Bieniemy, as well as Andy Reid. This is a little hope that we have for you. The last two games when you scripted your plays, You scored on the first drive both times, and both times it looked really good. Like, it looked like something we could watch. It looked like something you can get behind. But then after that, you put the ball back in Patrick Mahomes' hands, and you try all the weird stuff and the crazy stuff and the foolishness and the tomfoolery, and then you do that, and then you don't score points. And then you don't get to a place that that looks familiar. And then I think the big thing for the Chiefs, and this is what I want, the last thing I'll say about Mahomes and the Chiefs, I think the pedestrian and boring stuff, that's not what they like to do, even when it works. Like, they want the home run ball.
Right.
They want that, they want the big play. They want the stuff that people talk about, the stuff that everybody's retweeting on Twitter. Guess what? Newsflash, you can't do that every time. Whatever it takes to win is what you need to be doing. And if it's not that, then it ain't that.
I'll tell you one more game I want to get to. Titans and Rams. Tennessee minus Derrick Henry.
The return to Matt Stafford.
Go in and just really, this game was
Stafford looked
over.
like Wentz. Did you see that interception?
First time in his career.
The first one where he just chucked it behind his head at the goal line?
He did it twice.
First time in Matt Stafford's career he's throwing interceptions on back-to-back passes.
Yeah, and one went to the house. The other one, the next play,
resulted
went
in
to
a
the house. So
touchdown.
he had a bad game. I'm throwing that one out too, although Tennessee is really coming into their own. Congrats to Vrabel and those guys.
So here's the only reason why I'm on the edge of throwing it out or not throwing it out. Is we know what Matt Stafford does in primetime games. He's 9-70 versus winning teams. Teams with winning records, Matt Stafford's 9-70. Now, we know he played in Detroit, so you got to take that stat with a grain of salt. Understood. But we know Matt Stafford in these moments, a lot of times, he starts to turn into this guy. And I understand it was early in the game. He made 2. He got out the way. But what did I say on Friday? I said Matt Stafford is going to be Matt Stafford at some point.
Yep.
And here it is. That defense still played pretty good. Like, if you take off the 14 points off the board that the offense gave up to the Titans, you're minus 14 on that. That defense still played well with Von Miller, Aaron Donald, and the crew. Aaron, etc. They still played well. So if I'm Matt Stafford, hey, you know what? Had a couple bad plays. It was a game. I will throw it out, but with an asterisk.
3 quick things in the NFL. Justin Herbert's a stud.
Boom.
San Francisco is finished.
Boom.
Arizona's good.
Boom.
Very good.
Boom.
Play out their 2 best players. And a guy by the name of Josh Bynes is still playing football.
Baltimore Ravens linebacker. Remember him?
I think we remember him.
Not good enough.
Not good enough to be here.
It's just
but good enough to be on a Super Bowl caliber team.
You could thank Bob Quinn for that.
Thanks,
and
Bob.
Just another way to put this franchise back another 5 years.
What a turd.
Man, chill out next. Ermanni and Edwards.
That's my chill out
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. We didn't even talk about how Colt McCoy is still in the NFL.
Wow.
Still in the NFL getting it done. Cardinals are a problem. Cardinals are a problem.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. One mortgage myth we hear all the time is having to choose between a 15 or a 30-year fixed term. At Hall Financial, we offer the modern mortgage to create a flexible term that fits your unique financial situation. Our team of mortgage experts are available 7 days a week to review your goals and customize a solution for you. Get started today with a free 5-minute mortgage review at 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Hey guys, it's Maz from my good friends Noni and Chris Hutt from the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. Get on out there. It is a fun game. I love bowling. I love football. Put them together, and you got a hell of a game. How? You can host your corporate party, team building event, or just come in with friends and family. 2 ways to play. $10 unlimited open play. You can play the whole time they're there. Or a private lane reservation, $120 for 10 people and 2 hours of fun. They also have 100 beers, over 100 beers, and a $2 mystery beer machine. It's like a little vending machine. Put $2 in, and you get whatever beer comes out. You're going to enjoy it. Multiple full bars as well. The best thing, you could bring your own food or even have it delivered. Come get your foal on. Check it out at thefoalingwarehouse.com.
We have an event coming up there pretty soon this month, right?
Yes,
Looking forward to
a
it.
little team building
I threw my
exercise.
arm out there one time trying to throw
You
the
did?
football. Yeah, there's got to be a better way to not throw your arm
man,
out.
Braylon, you should see me back in the day. Ready, set, hit. Oh man, lights out.
Like that cadence and that drop back screams, I never got in the game. I'm just saying, that's what it screams.
By the way, we have our qualifier for
Let us know.
the turkey games. I'm going to send it out to Fish for more information.
The winner is J.D. Smith, 31-11.
J.D. Smith,
right.
you are our qualifier today. You have a chance to go to Thanksgiving Day, the Classic against the Bears on Thanksgiving Day. Make sure you come down and see us at the Tin Roof first, but 2 front row seats for the Thanksgiving Day game between the Lions and Bears on the line.
The Lions are going to win, right, Maz? It's
Probably
pretty
not.
simple.
Very good. Hey, gang, you know what we're going to do today? We're going to have some fun. We're going to do a little thing we like to call Man.
Chill out.
You think it's funny?
Chill, Daddy.
Pack your bags, get the hell off. Now, do you understand what you did?
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
Then chill out. Chill out.
Chill out.
So, gang, Matt LaFleur, we talked about it a little bit. In the Green Bay Packers game, after the game, he defended Jordan Love and took all of the blame. And while I feel that is admirable for your head coach to take the brunt of it, for Jordan Love, a former first-round pick who's had the privilege to sit behind Aaron Rodgers every day at practice and watch him go to work and watch how he studies and watch how he goes about just being a pro. For Jordan Love to finally get his opportunity and just to lay an absolute egg, man, chill out.
Yeah, he definitely
seriously, like you get Mike White got an opportunity, Cooper Rush got an opportunity, Geno Smith has gotten an opportunity,
Simeon.
Trevor Simeon has gotten an opportunity through 2 touchdown passes, looked decent. You're not going to win anything with him, but as a stopgap guy, I mean, to come in and look that bad, like he wasn't even near some of these guys on these incompletions. So what have you been doing, Jordan Love? Chill out.
Yeah, if you watch that game too, though, like they didn't even put him in positions to throw the ball down the field or take those big heaves and try to get it to Devontae Adams. So you could tell that they're not very comfortable with what they have in Jordan Love, and they were very upset, Maz, that they drafted Jordan Love. Like if you're gonna piss off Aaron Rodgers, if you're gonna go about it the way in which you did it, you better hope this guy pins on the stud. Now you did this before with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, but it worked out. It worked out, got you a Super Bowl.
It still might work out.
No, it still might work out.
Sure, it might.
It might work out.
Not promising.
But you knew right away when you saw Aaron what was going to happen, what you were going to have. Like with Jordan, and like you said, it is early. It's one game, and we are, putting too much on him because of what Mike White done, other quarterbacks. But I'm just telling you, it wasn't a fresh start. I'd say that.
Devontae Adams didn't practice all week either. Remember that.
I understand that, but I guess this isn't like kid's been in the league for 8 games, finally gets an opportunity. I mean, he's been practicing with these guys for 2.5 years. You should be essentially like, even though you don't have game action, almost like a veteran quarterback going in there.
Well, he got better as the game went on, I thought. I thought he played a good fourth quarter, actually. And if they would have stopped him on that third down play when Mahomes hit Tyreek Hill, I think he would have drove him down and won him that game.
Jordan Love sucks.
No, he don't suck.
Nah, I won't go so far as he sucks, because we're talking about the same.
I just have
I feel you, because I'm like, we were saying that this Green Bay team sucked 5 weeks ago, and this is essentially the same team. So
if Green Bay got that ball back, they would have beat the Chiefs 14-13. They lost only because their kicker. Mason Crosby, he couldn't
missed 2, blocked
2 field
1,
goals.
missed 1.
Yeah, he couldn't. He can't
he
do
missed
it.
2 earlier this year.
And they muffed the punt on the goal line. They muffed the punt on the goal line. I mean, they should have won that game going away.
Yeah, they definitely should have.
I had them.
Yeah. I guess I'm up next. If you're a boxing fan, there was a boxing match this weekend.
I didn't even know that.
There was a pretty big boxing match that actually got postponed.
Canelo
Alvarez, as well as the individual he was fighting, Plant got planted at the press conference 5 weeks ago.
Sure, it wasn't Jacques.
So they postponed it, and this is my man. Chill out. So we got the video. Let's see, throw that up there.
You got to play. Listen to this. They're talking to each other. You can hear them talking to each other.
Yep.
That's really cool.
I know.
Hey, Plant, throw some punches. They're booing. You hear that boo? They were just dancing around.
Now, here's why this is my man chill out, all right? Like, I don't mind guys talking in between rounds. I don't guys talking in between flurries and punches. I don't mind that, or exchanging words as you're exchanging blows. You know what? I don't mind that. If you want to get after it, if this is how you try to out-talk the other opponent or take the other opponent out their game, Brian, by all means, go ahead.
Please do.
But if you're going to do it, then don't get dropped a couple seconds after that. Like after that flurry, like a couple minutes after that, he got beat up in the face.
Canelo or the other guy?
Other guy, Plank. Who you mean Canelo?
Right. Nah, Canelo didn't.
Canelo's pound for pound best in the world. It's not even close.
Right.
He beat the guy up in the body, beat the guy up in the face. He threw jabs. He just really demolished the guy so bad. Hit him in the ribs on the way down. And the guy you saw him he was out of it. The guy was mad, talking about Plant, you could tell that he was hurt, that he was trying to talk stuff to Canelo, that he was trying to talk Canelo out of the game, and while Canelo is the best. If you're going to talk, back it up. Like, don't talk to the man that's pound for pound #1 in the world, and then that's your follow-up, which is a butt whooping, and you couldn't finish the fight. Don't waste your breath. Because if you would have just got knocked out, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. I say, you know, I saw at the press conference, I knew he was going to get knocked out. But if you're going to talk stuff and you get knocked out, you just look bad, man. You made yourself look bad, man. Man, chill out. Be quiet. Hush. Take this butt whooping like a man.
He did.
Chill out.
He got KO'd anyway. What's the difference?
Yeah, he did. He got knocked out the ring.
My man chill out was going to be the Lions. They were not one of the 16 teams at the Ole Miss and Liberty game on Saturday. Two quarterbacks that are supposedly going to be a first-round pick somewhere in there. Matt Corral from Ole Miss and Ryan's guy. What's your guy's name?
Malik Willis.
Oh, Malik Willis. Let me give you Malik Willis's numbers. Malik Willis was 16 of 25 for 173 yards, 3 interceptions. He did run for 71 yards. Corral, he was just pedestrian himself. Threw for 324 yards and a score. Not bad, but they're playing against Liberty, for crying out loud. I wasn't going to say that because the Lions weren't there. And you heard Corey earlier. Corey Woods, our Lions reporter, came in and said he was asked, Dan Campbell was asked about this today at his press conference, and he said, well, we didn't send anyone there. It's because I guess we basically, paraphrasing, we just weren't interested in being there. So the Lions are not going to take either one of these quarterbacks. They're probably not going to take Sam Howell either. He wasn't very good in North Carolina's game. He can run, though, but just a big guy, not a great arm. I'm going to complain about tonight. I'm so bored already.
Who do you like?
The Steelers and the Bears.
Give the people a winner.
Who came up with that matchup for Monday Night Football?
People that were watching this game.
The network that carries it?
That's a garbage game.
Garbage.
They have no history, unless you're going back to the 30s and 40s. What are you giving me the Steelers and the freaking Bears for? I got to watch this game tonight?
This would have been a good game.
It would have been a great Manning game tonight.
This would have been a good game 5 years ago and further back.
Maybe 1985. 85. Give me that one in 84, 85. Not now. I got to watch Ben Roethlisberger.
I mean, you don't
tonight?
have to. You can watch NBA or NHL.
Could be a good night to watch something else.
I'm going to have to rewatch Yellowstone tonight.
Yellowstone.
Rewatch Yellowstone.
Man. Something else that was good. I did get a chance to, since Michigan, the football team, couldn't beat Michigan State, the football team. I went to the hockey game this past Friday at Yost, and Michigan hockey team took care of business 7-2 against Michigan State.
So you get the bunion back.
Technically, here's the deal. Because technically, they got 2 wins. Michigan also went up to Michigan State that Saturday and won again, 3-2. So
give it back, Alex.
Two wins for 1. No, I'm joking. The bunion only goes to the football.
Man, chill out to the Monday Night Football game. I feel bad for those guys.
You
tonight.
got a winner tonight.
Hopefully, it's going to be. I guess I'm going to take the Bears in the points. They're getting 7.
Pittsburgh. I'm Steelers.
There is breaking news in college football regarding Nebraska head coach Scott Frost. We'll have that for you next. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. Oh, man, I like the setup. Got me on my toes.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
You know why realtors love using Hall Financial as a lender? Because of our commitment to speed and service. We have nearly 4,000 5-star reviews already. Call today, 248-308-5000, or go to callhallfirst.com.
Hey guys, I want to tell you about Guardian Alarm, your local security experts for over 90 years. Guardian Alarm, convenient features that let you check in on your home, control your lights, your temperatures, detect smoke and carbon monoxide. They'll even let you lock and unlock your doors. Number to call if you want to look like a genius and protect your home is a simple one. Ready, fellas? 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm has been trusted for over 90 years of keeping families safe. Stay out.
Stay out of here.
Quick breaking news regarding Nebraska and head coach Scott Frost. Trev Alberts, former Nebraska Cornhusker player, is now the vice chancellor and director of athletics. They have agreed to restructure the contract. Scott Frost will remain head coach at Nebraska.
Good for him.
For at least next season and beyond. But Trev Alberts says our record isn't what we want it to be, but we have seen the progress we want to see.
I like it.
And we are sticking with Scott Frost.
Yeah, that's a good assessment. You know, you saw what Michigan had to do, and I don't know what that extension will be. You saw Michigan gave Harbaugh an extension, but they lowered his salary this year by a couple million.
And that's what probably they did in Nebraska.
And that's why I was thinking, Nebraska probably did something similar along those lines because, in one hand, you know, you haven't had the success that you wanted. You haven't had the success that I'm pretty sure he promised you or he said he could get you. But at the same time, you see what he did this year against Ohio State, Michigan State, and Michigan. That's something to be proud of, and that's something that there's probably an undercurrent there that's a positive one.
Without question.
Yeah.
Alex is back.
Alex, where were you this past weekend?
I'm back.
Fill us in, Alex. How was your Red Wing weekend?
Yeah, so I went to my first ever Red Wings away game, something that I've always wanted to do just because, you know, us Red Wings fans, we travel really well. And
Yes,
both
they do.
the Sabres and the Red Wings were coming in on 3-game losing streaks, and I was just hoping for a competitive game, and that's exactly what we got. First of all, this goal by Tyler Bertuzzi just completely undresses the Sabres defenseman to tie the game. We were down 3-1 with 6 minutes left in the third.
Come back.
Bertuzzi scores twice within a minute.
Oof.
Good on him. And then Sider, with his first career NHL goal, is the OT winner. I'm sitting about 18 rows up from where he got the puck right there.
Would you move down?
Yeah,
I was about to say, tell me about those seats.
Yeah, so the Sabres fans, they do not show up well to their games at all. We got in with about it was like 5 minutes into the game, and there was no one there. It was like 20% full. They were like,
Wow.
okay, so next commercial, we're moving down. So we we paid for nosebleeds, but we sat lower bowl, and it was a great game, great experience, and I want to go to more away games for the Wings.
That's awesome, Alex.
And
Great job.
They beat Vegas last night, so
Yeah,
2 in
they
a
did.
row.
Hey, Alex, quickly, you got a thought on Michigan State losing to Purdue?
Oh, boy.
The Red Wings took away the pain
Good.
of the Michigan State losing. My thought is this was a trap game, and we got trapped. I'm already over it. You know, obviously our secondary needs to shape up a little bit. Could have helped if we had a couple more turnovers. Could have helped if we had Jalen Naylor play. But we got a great bounce back opportunity this weekend against Maryland. Just, you know, force a couple turnovers against this Tagovailoa guy, and we'll be in good shape.
For more on Michigan State, check out Alex on Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. And, of course, Twitter.
Yeah, and I like
Alex
the fact,
Mayer.
I like the fact that Alex said he's moved on and he's good with that because he should be. Like, you get Naylor back next week. You look at some of the opportunities that they had. They still had a lot of opportunities to beat this Purdue team that's become a better team than most people gave credit. Also, Purdue's in the West. If you know anything about how the conference championships works, they're not on Michigan State's side. So Michigan State still has everything they want in front of them, like you always say. They got Ohio State, they got Penn State, they got Michigan. I mean, well, they already beat Michigan. They have Penn State and Ohio State. And they may get a chance to see Purdue again.
Bottom line videos of the day. Tom Mazawey.
Last night, Sunday Night Football. Wasn't a great game. Kind of. Well, if you were with the Titans, it was a pretty fun game. But in the stands, of course, we got the fans. They're drinking a little, having a little fun. I'm not sure if we can even play the audio here. Let's keep the audio down on this in case there's a couple of curses. But look at these guys going at it. Some real good boxing fans
Some cuss words,
watching this game.
some
Check
curses.
this out, man. Let's play it.
Some curse.
Give it a look.
Give them some cusses.
Now, I'm telling you. Listen. Watch this. There's a better knockout here. Here's a knockout. Right there. Down he goes.
Who is that? Robert Woods?
Isn't that something?
He stepped on him.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, here's a question that I have.
What's wrong with these people?
Idiots.
Every time you show these highlights, Maz, or these fights at stadiums, it's always the same team.
It's the Rams. You're right.
No, I think
that guy's
that's
a Ram.
the same team.
Yeah,
Right
that's the
there.
Ram.
But the
Look at
first
his
guy I
step
think is
on
a
him.
Derrick Henry uniform jersey. No, that's like an Albert Hainsworth uniform.
He didn't represent Derrick Henry
No,
very
22,
well.
Derrick Henry.
That was a Rams on Rams beatdown.
The
right
last
there.
one is.
That's
man.
horrible.
Maz, why did I see empty seats?
Meanwhile,
'Cause they
this
were
guy
losing.
is like 50 years old. It's delivering the knockout.
I know.
blows.
He's got that grown man strength.
Seriously, this guy's like.
It's grown man strength. Hey, Fish brings up a good question. Oh, that's because they were losing. Game was over.
Plus,
Game was over.
in L.A., no one
You
goes.
get the heck out of there.
That's what I was waiting for you to say, Maz.
Wait, the best part. Guy steps on his head.
Yeah, when he was walking back up the steps.
Yeah.
What's wrong with these? Why am I laughing? Why does that make me laugh?
They're just
it's
stupid.
just terrible.
Okay,
The thing about it is a lot of those are on the west.
dumb.
A lot of those are on the West Coast though.
Have
Like,
some
you've
respect.
shown Rams,
Dumb
covering Rams a couple
fans.
times. It's been West Coast stuff. Rams, then the stuff in the
Idiots.
playoffs in basketball.
Yep.
Was Denver and the Suns.
You got it.
It's a lot of West Coast stuff.
Friggin'
man.
idiots.
Hey, let's change the channel and go to another NFL game. Let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers. Now, look, Jordan Love's
Change that
family.
channel.
I figured you would go
Jordan
here.
Love's mom has never missed a game. Never. Look at the seat they give Jordan Love's mom and his girlfriend. Look, the last row of Arrowhead Stadium.
Come on.
The
no
very-
offense.
Look
buy,
at that.
Buy a ticket.
That's a disgrace.
Seriously, like Jordan Love, buy a ticket.
Come on.
I wish I would have. This would have been my man. Chill out. But go on.
Make it.
Go on StubHub, Jordan Love, and buy your mom and your girlfriend a better seat than the last row at Arrowhead.
You know what's a good representation of their seats? How you played.
Yeah, I mean,
It makes sense
seriously.
now.
They were probably better off up there.
It was a bad day all around for the Loves and Stones. I believe his girlfriend's last
Maybe
name
they
was
wanted.
Stone.
Maybe they didn't want to be in that crowd and get abused.
Oh, let's be in the spot where everyone's going to know who we
Right.
are.
Go ahead, Fish.
I'm told that those are Aaron Rodgers' family tickets. That's where Aaron Rodgers' family seats. And, well, obviously common sense, he wasn't there because of COVID. So they decided to send Jordan Love's family up there.
Aaron Rodgers has seats at Arrowhead.
Well, I'm sure he has seats everywhere.
Well, I guess those are the tickets where
That
they
he bought.
sit
Oh.
for the game, I guess. That's
Because when you go to a visiting game and you go to
get
the
an
home
allotment.
team, you go to your home team, you get your allotment, and they usually stick you in the corner, upper deck somewhere. But those teams, that was the
Come
worst
on,
I've ever
have some
seen.
respect.
and it looked like they were in the sun, so they had to do this to
was-
see
Hey,
that.
my last
sounds-
video is horse racing.
Oh,
the
boy,
biggest
horse
race.
Breeders' Cup.
The Breeders' Cup
I was thinking
Classic.
about you, Maz.
I hit the trifecta in this race, by the way. My horse didn't win, but
How
I had
much?
it boxed.
How much?
I won $82 on this
All
trifecta.
right.
It was
How
a-
much you wager?
I wagered $6, $1 exact,
Oh,
dollar
man.
trifecta
There
box.
you go.
So I pulled in $82. I wanted Medina Spirit to win. That's Bob Baffert's horse.
Sure, Baffert.
You know Bob Baffert.
Who doesn't know
He's
Bob
the hated
Baffert?
man right now,
D.
but I
Wayne
kind of dig him.
Lucas.
But here they
we know
are
who
coming
Baffert
down the
is.
stretch. I want you to look at this horse. Is there a better
Horse
looking
steroid.
horse than
She-
Knicks Go?
He's gorgeous.
Look at Knicks Go. Listen, bring it up for Larry Colmus.
Knicks
So we
go.
can
Bring
take
it up,
down for
Fish.
copyright.
Relax with your copyright. We're talking over it.
Keep talking.
And up comes Nick Guts.
Listen,
Look at that horse.
Nick goes, coming up fast as Nick goes. He's coming up. Is he? Is number 5 horse? He's coming. He's going. He's moving. He's shaking.
Braylon.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I like how the winning horse is wearing green and white.
I think Braylon was better.
I appreciate it.
So Knicks Go, Medina Spirit at Essential Quality, and the Breeders' Cup Classic.
Oh man,
Hating on my. Hating on my
I was talking to-
Dude, you're really good.
I
at
was
this.
talking to Stingray Steve all weekend long.
Oh, God, he
with
loves
this
the
stuff.
ponies.
He didn't hit one freaking race.
Oh,
No, but he probably nailed a couple of parlays yesterday.
Probably did. Probably did. He had a bad weekend.
no, you're not.
He had the Patriots yesterday.
Oh man.
Patricks.
Hey guys,
Patriots.
tomorrow it is Tuesdays with Stan. We'll chat with
Sessions with Stan.
former Michigan All-American, former Houston Oiler, former Detroit Lions, Stan Edwards, Braylon's dad as well. Get his perspective on Michigan State, and Brad Holmes. Want to revisit that Brad Holmes topic with Stan as well. A lot to get to, and we'll revisit this terrible game tonight.
And we got Tucker Barnhart, the Tigers' brand
Catcher.
new Gold Glove catcher, coming on with us tomorrow.
Lots to get to tomorrow, Braylon.
It's another fun day, man. This is part of what we do, man.
Absolutely. Again, if you're in the car, out and about, check us out 6 to 8:30 93.5, 99.1, or 94.7 HD2 FM. Tell a friend about us, Woodward Sports Network. All you got to do is go to YouTube, search Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. You can listen on Spotify. You can listen anywhere podcasts are found whenever you want as well. Braylon, bring us home.
Hey, last week we missed Mass for 2 days, and then we missed Alex for Friday. But guess what? The gang's all here now, baby. Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. We are on fire. Great start, Jay Bilas, one of my favorites doing it. Heck of an interview. We can't wait till tomorrow, man, and we can't wait to provide you with more good stuff, good clips. He's Ermanni. I'm Edwards. That's Fish. That's Alex. That's Maz. And we're out of here. Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line. I was trying to catch it. Almost had it. Got to give me the heads up.
The Saints lived up to their name and performed one merit.
Tom Dempsey will try to kick the longest field goal in National League history. They're sending him on with 2 seconds left. Scarpetti will hold. Dempsey will have to kick one 62 yards to win the ball game. Holy daylight, I've seen them all, but this is the most exciting moment in Saint history. Here's the snap. The ball is down. Dempsey kicks. It's on the way.